I'm Victoria Pearson, but you can call me V, and as promised, this week's vlog is in fact an art making vlog, yay, but it is not the one that I promised you. Last week I told you I was going to be showing you another acrylic on canvas that would be shortly going up on my Ko-fi store. I am still just a few finishing touches away from finishing it. It has been a little bit of a week this week, and I just couldn't face getting all the paints out and then having to wash all my brushes afterwards and everything else. It was just too much for me. I was too overwhelmed this week. But I really wanted to make something artsy. I just didn't want to make a mess. And I said to my daughter at the time, I wish that I had taken the time to learn how to do digital art because she's a fantastic digital artist. But I never did, and now it seems a bit pointless. As AI generated images get better, people won't be able to tell the difference between digital art made by humans or not, and so it seems a bit pointless to learn. And she said to me, don't let AI stop you from doing something that you want to do. And she's quite right. I've had this idea in my head for a comic strip for ages and ages and ages. Just, it would be a better way to tell the story that I want to tell than through words. I've got a really clear idea in my head of how it would look, but I don't have the skills to pull it off. And so she said to me, why don't you learn to do some digital art at home? Now, I thought to make digital art, I would have to have all sorts of equipment and stuff, but actually all I needed to start with was my laptop. On day 2 of my challenge, I bought myself a little drawing pad, which I'll show you in a moment. But on day 1, I just used my laptop, my laptop's trackpad, and a free program called Krita. On day 2, I had got myself a drawing tablet. I got this from Amazon. It was 30 quid. I had a 30 quid voucher on Amazon, and so I bought it for this purpose. It is very basic, very simple, and also a little bit greasy right now. It comes with a pencil and some spare nibs, and all these little buttons on here you can program to be whatever command you want. So for me, I've got it set to undo, redo, erase, and save, so that I've got those buttons just at my fingertips. It came as well with the power cord that it needed and the little digital pen. That's also got programmable buttons on there, but I have set them to not mean anything at the moment because I keep pressing them by mistake, which was very, very annoying. It came in this little fluffy case, and it also came with spare nibs and a little thing to pull the old nibs out with, and also a spare adapter in case you don't quite have the shape that this one has on it. And so you can plug it into your phone as well, theoretically. I haven't tried that yet, which may surprise some of my friends because I do tend to do absolutely everything on my phone. I've written 4 novels on my phone. I do a lot of my video editing work on my phone. I'm a big lover of using my phone. I like to have the thing that's in my hand all of the time. But with this, I needed the bigger screen. I needed more room to work. And so I used my little laptop for it instead. And so I decided that the best way to learn how to make the digital art after my daughter had shown me the most basic programs on there was to just make at least one piece of digital art every day for a week. I expected that my drawings would get better and better throughout the week, but actually I don't think that's the case at all. Now I am going to put them on the screen here while I talk about them. So let me shift over a little bit, but I'm going to be looking down at my laptop from time to time because that's where I've got the pictures in order so that I can remind myself what order I did them in. So day 1, I started by just playing around with the brushes, see what was available. I really liked the blur effect, and so I ended up making this sort of pink and purple and pale blue sky. It's very similar in fact to the wallpaper that's on my phone, except that I wanted to have some sunbeams cascading down from between the clouds. I've always been really inspired when I see them in nature. I think it really looks beautiful, and when I see that I can understand why in the olden days people believed they could see angels and things. We see these huge beams of light cascading from the heavens, beautiful. I tried to capture that. I'm not sure I quite got there, but I think for a very, very first attempt at digital art, that's not too bad actually. After that, I decided to get a bit more complicated with it on the same day, and I decided I was going to do a self-portrait. Now, full disclosure, I did this one by putting in a photo of myself, turning the opacity right down so that I could see what I was drawing on top of it, and then using the colour picker to pick the colours and draw over the top. So really, you could argue that this was a tracing rather than a drawing. But I am so pleased with how it came out. Bearing in mind as well that this is still day 1, so I'm using a laptop trackpad. I don't even have an external mouse. I was using just the trackpad that is on the keyboard of the laptop built in, and I managed to create something that I'm actually really, really pleased with. I think if I had already had the pen by then, I would have made it a lot better, but I'm really, really happy with how it turned out. Some of the coloring's tiny bit off, and you know, it could be a little bit neater in places, but I'm really, really pleased with how that one came out. I expected day twos to be pretty awesome. It was not. I experimented with a couple of line drawings at first, just by putting a photo on and just doing a single line drawing over the top of it. Didn't quite turn out the way I liked. In fact, this one's quite scary. And so after that, I just did this little fungi mushroom, and it was a bit rubbish. But I was trying to go for a more cheerful art style. I'm not sure if it really worked, and I didn't really like it. It came across a little bit haunted when actually I was just going for like primary, cheerful school book type thing.
Also, on my laptop, the sky looked blue, but on my phone, it looks purple. Like, what color do you think the sky is in that picture?
On day 3, I I started working on a mythical beast called a cockatrice because, as you will know if you've watched the channel a lot, I have been working on a collaborative project with 3 other authors to make a novel, and the big bad in the novel is a cockatrice. And so there's very little art out there of cockatrices really, and so I was trying to give myself something to use as a reference more than anything. I sketched this out on paper first, and then took a photo of that, put it into the drawing app, and then went over it. I used lots and lots of layers to sketch this, and I started off with some colouring that I didn't really like. It looked too dragony, and so I changed it up, and I'm really, really pleased with how this last one went. I'm especially pleased as well that one of the other authors said that's straight out of my nightmares, because it means that they're visualising a similar sort of concept to I am, and that is always a good idea if you're on a collaborative project with somebody. So day 3, I was really, really happy with. On day 4, I didn't have an awful lot of time, to be honest with you, and so I just knocked together something really simple and quick, and I'm really, really pleased with how it turned out. I actually stole the concept of it from a t-shirt of somebody that was visiting my house. I really liked the whole concept of the cactus with the free hugs sort of sign on him, and so yeah, I stole that concept and that idea, but I really, really like how the background came out, and I really, really liked how the little flower on the cactus came out, and I was just very, very pleased with that. That's one that I just completely free-handed, and although it only took about sort of 10-15 minutes, I was very, very pleased with how it turned out. On day 5, my youngest challenged me to do some pop art, and I don't know if everything I did counts as pop art, but I'm pretty sure this does. I was really, really pleased with this, except that when I then added dots on it to make it more pop arty, I didn't do them very uniform. I'm sure there must be a tool on Critter where I could have done that better, but I free-handed all of them and I didn't like it, so I prefer it without the dots. But I still think it counts as pop art without the dots. It's got that sort of really bold outline and all that sort of style about it, the bright colours. Really, really liked that. And then this second piece is probably my favourite that I did all week long. I really, really love how it turns out. I'm not sure it counts as pop art. If you do know the style of art that it's called, please tell me, because I've no idea. But I just stole the concept off of Pinterest, and I really, really like how it came out. Day 6 was another prompt from my youngest because I really enjoyed his first one, and he challenged me to draw my own unique superhero that has never been created before. And I had to say what their powers were and what their weaknesses were. So I spent ages and ages doing a hyper-realistic one that ended up really looking quite haunted and evil. And I was going to show you that, even though it was really, really rubbish, but I accidentally deleted it. But luckily on day 6, I also then redid the superhero in a much sort of cuter style. It's kind of more children's book style concept. This is Divine, my OC superhero, and he has the power over plants and animals. That's why he's all wrapped in vines, in case you can't tell what that is, and why his name is Divine. And his weakness is that he's very susceptible to pollution, and that he needs to be really hydrated for his powers to work, because my plants are always dying from a lack of water. Day 7, again, was a bit of a day in my house. I'm not going to bore you with the details. You've heard enough about my mechanical troubles and driving troubles over the last few weeks to have had your fill. But there was more, and I think I have got a car curse, but I'm working on breaking it. And so day 7 was a very quick one. I got interrupted halfway through as well, and then had to come back to it later. I ended up doing this sort of haunted house. Actually, when it's at full zoom, I don't think you can see all the little details of my graveyard in there. I did enjoy playing with the misty lights in this one though. The little street lamp there in the middle was a really fun little thing to do. And so I set out to show you that you could make progress in a week doing digital art. And I don't think I have actually shown you that, because I think one of the best ones that I did was my self-portrait on day 1. And then the other one that I really liked was day 5, which was this one. I really did enjoy making that one, and I really was very pleased with how it turned out in the end. But my progress was definitely not linear. It was fun to do, and it was completely free for me to do. In my best one, I did completely free. I already had the laptop and the software was free. This isn't sponsored by Critter, it's just the one that my daughter used first when she was starting out, recommended to me, and it is fairly simple if you give yourself the chance to just play about and click about with it and don't get too scared of it. And so I enjoyed learning the process of making digital art with that. And yeah, the drawing pad that I got was a £30 one. It's a very sticky box because it was covered in Amazon stickers. It didn't come in any packaging, it just came with the address label on there. So I'm a bit annoyed that it's sticky, and I think maybe I need to buy a case for it now. But it's very, very functional for quite a good price. Like I said, it was $29.99, and I happen to have a free trial of Prime at the moment, so I got it delivered free, and I happened to have an Amazon voucher on my account, and so it feels very like I managed to learn a new hobby for free this week for me, although technically it would have cost £30. But if you're thinking about getting a drawing tablet, the little cheap ones are obviously quite good, and I haven't had any problems with it whatsoever. It was also very, very easy to set up. You go to their website once you've plugged it into your computer, and you can set your buttons there to do whatever function that you want them to do. And it does a pressure test as well, where you draw on your tablet for a second so it can see sort of how hard you press, because it does react to how much pressure you do as well. You can colour lightly, or you can colour it really hard if you want it to be very, very vibrant. And I like that as well. It makes shading much easier. It feels like I'm making traditional art, which is something that I really, really like. You can get much more expensive drawing pads, ones with screens and all that sort of thing. And I think if I was getting really, really into it, that would be something that I would want to do in the long term, just to make it so that I'm not juggling a laptop and a drawing pad on my lap. But it was definitely worth doing, and I really, really like that I've got a kind of art that I can just close the lid on the laptop, and that is all the cleanup that I need to do on it, because I love painting and I love sculpting, but I hate the cleanup afterwards. Nevertheless, next week I am going to finish the painting that I've got on the go that is an acrylic on canvas. I've actually got the paints out already, so that it's there to remind me that I need to finish that this week. And hopefully next week I'll be showing you a video of me finishing that painting, and then it will be available on my Ko-fi store, because you lovely people have sold out all the art on my Ko-fi store. I think I've got one thing left on there, which actually is the thing that took me the most time and effort, which is kind of annoying that it's the only thing left on there. But this painting is shaping up to be quite an effortful painting as well, because I never make it easy on myself. I don't know why I keep painting water. I find it so difficult to do. And it's an even more of a challenge because it's moonlit water, and so it's all done with shadows and light. But I am having fun with painting it. I'm just not enjoying the cleanup afterwards. Now, hopefully that will be what I will be showing you on Monday morning, 6 a.m. UK time, when I will be here showing you something. But if you can't wait until then to see me again, I will be here every single morning in your shorts, taking a great big deep breath, letting you know what I'm grateful for. A lot this week I've been telling you what's been challenging me, but hopefully we're moving away from the challenging times now. And I will be here on a Witchy Wednesday doing an intuitive tarot card read for you as well. Until then, you have yourself a beautiful week.